Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 5 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you say NTA immediately. Story 1. My sister cancelled my wedding spot 2 weeks before. So my friend basically uninvited me from her wedding 2 weeks before the big day, and I'm still trying to process it. Okay, let me back up. My friend, she's 29, has been with her boyfriend for 6 years, and they finally set a date, September 27th. She invited me and my mom, because my mom has basically known her since she was a teenager. We've been close for over 8 years. I was so excited. My mom actually went out and bought a brand new outfit just for this wedding. We had it circled on the calendar, we were planning the drive, the hotel, everything. And then, out of nowhere, I get this text. She goes, quote, "Hi Riley, I know this is short notice and I don't even know how to tell you this, but we're taking back," and then she just explains that they're cutting the guest list down because of budget issues, and my mom and I are 2 of the names getting cut. Just like that. No phone call, no sitting down to explain it in person, just a text message 2 weeks before the wedding, after my mom already bought a whole new outfit. I was hurt, obviously, but I tried to be understanding. Weddings are expensive, I get that budgets change. But then I found out, through a mutual friend, that she didn't actually cut the guest list because of money. She cut it because her fiancé's mother wanted more of her side of the family included, and someone had to go, and apparently my mom and I were the easiest targets because we're, quote, not immediate family. Meanwhile she kept some coworkers she's known for like 2 years. So now I'm sitting here like, okay, so it wasn't about money at all, it was just that we were the most disposable people on the list. That stung so much more than the original text. I told her I understood the money situation, but now that I know the real reason, I'm honestly considering not going at all, even if she changes her mind last minute and re-invites us, which she hasn't, by the way. I texted her back saying that if this is how easily she can uninvite people she's supposedly close to, I don't really want to be there watching her get married anyway. She's calling me dramatic and says I'm making this bigger than it needs to be, that weddings are stressful and things happen. My mom is more hurt than angry, she keeps saying things like, well maybe we weren't as close as I thought we were, and that's honestly worse than if she just yelled about it. I've told a couple mutual friends what happened and some of them think I'm overreacting, that I should just let it go because weddings bring out messy decisions in people. But I keep thinking, if you're willing to text someone something like this with 2 weeks' notice, and then lie about the reason, what does that say about the friendship in the first place? So, am I the one being unreasonable here for giving up on going altogether? Or is she the one who broke something that can't really be uninvited back into? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I told my alcoholic friend not to have kids and he lost it. So I basically told my best friend he shouldn't have kids until he gets sober, and now he's not speaking to me. Let me explain the whole situation because it's a lot. I have this friend, he's 34, I'm 33, and he has been drinking heavily since he was 19. And I don't mean like a casual beer with dinner kind of drinking, I mean the kind where he drinks until he throws up, and then keeps drinking after that, 4 or more nights a week, for over a decade. This isn't a secret either, everyone in our friend group knows. He's lost jobs because of it. He's lost relationships because of it. He's lost friendships because of it. And through basically all of that, I've been the one friend who stuck around. I'm the person he calls at 2 in the morning when he's spiraling. I've driven to pick him up from bars. I've sat with him through hangovers and apologies and promises that this time he's really going to change. He knows he has a problem, he's said it to my face multiple times, but he has never once taken real steps to get sober. No rehab, no AA, no therapist, nothing consistent. So a few weeks ago, we're hanging out, and he casually mentions that he and his girlfriend have been talking about having a baby. And I just sort of froze, because my first thought was, are you serious right now? I asked him if he'd thought about how he's going to parent a newborn while still drinking the way he drinks, and he got defensive immediately, saying that plenty of people have kids and figure their stuff out afterward, that having a kid might actually be the thing that motivates him to get sober. And that's when I just told him straight up, I said, you need to get sober before you even think about having a kid, not after, not during, before. Bringing a baby into that kind of unpredictability isn't fair to the baby, and it's not fair to his girlfriend either, who would basically be a single parent managing an infant and an alcoholic partner at the same time. He got really upset, said I was basically saying he'd be a bad father, said I had no right to tell him what to do with his own life and his own relationship. I told him I wasn't trying to control his choices, I was being honest with him because I care about him, and because someone needed to say the hard thing instead of just nodding along like everyone else in our friend group does. He hasn't really talked to me since, aside from one short text saying he needs space. A couple of our mutual friends think I crossed a line, that it wasn't my place to bring up something that personal, that I should have just supported his decision and stayed out of it since it's his life and his relationship, not mine. But honestly, I keep thinking about that hypothetical kid, growing up in a house where a parent might not remember bedtime, might not show up to school events, might be unpredictable in ways a child doesn't deserve to experience. I've watched this man destroy jobs and relationships for over a decade because of this addiction, and I just could not sit there and say nothing while he talked about adding a baby into that mix. So, was I wrong to say something? Should I have just kept my mouth shut and let him figure it out on his own, even knowing what I know about how bad his drinking really is? Story 3. My sister uses my house like a free hotel before her wedding. So my sister wanted to use my house as her personal wedding prep hotel, and when I said no, she completely lost it. Okay, so a little background. I'm 26, my sister is 30, and growing up she was always kind of the golden child in our family. My parents would never actually admit it out loud, but she could ask for basically anything and the answer was always yes. Meanwhile I was the one who was just expected to understand, to help out, to not make waves. That dynamic never really went away, it just followed us into adulthood. I have a spare room in my house, and over the years my sister has stayed there a lot. In the beginning, honestly, I didn't mind, it was nice having her around, we'd catch up, watch shows, it felt like actual sister time. But somewhere along the way it shifted. Lately she barely even visits me when she stays over, she's just using my house because it's convenient, it's close to wherever she needs to be that day. She'll text me things like, hey, I'm coming Friday, can you make sure the guest room is ready, like I'm running a bed and breakfast and not her sibling. So her wedding is coming up, and she asked if she and her fiancé could stay at my place for like 4 or 5 days leading up to it, because it's closer to the venue than her own apartment, and it would just be easier for her. And I said no. I told her I love her, I'm happy to help with wedding stuff in other ways, but I didn't want my house turned into a staging area for days on end, especially since her fiancé would be there too and I barely know the guy on any personal level. She was stunned. She said she couldn't believe I would say no to her right before her wedding, of all times, that it's supposed to be about families showing up for each other. My mom got looped in almost immediately, and now I'm getting calls about how this is such a small ask, how stressed my sister is, how I'm being selfish over a few days. Nobody seems to be acknowledging the years of her treating my home like a hotel with room service, never really visiting me as a person, just using the space when it benefits her. I tried to explain that to my mom, and she basically brushed it off, said that's just how sisters are, and that I should be more generous, especially during such a big moment in her life. My sister hasn't spoken to me since, other than one passive-aggressive message saying she hopes I enjoy having space to myself. And the thing is, I do help her, I've helped with invitations, I drove 2 hours to help her look at dresses, I'm not trying to be absent from her wedding at all. I just don't want to hand over my entire house for almost a week right before it happens. So, am I actually the jerk here for finally setting a boundary, or is my family just so used to my sister getting whatever she wants that any pushback feels like a personal attack? Story 4. My mom called me disgusting on my birthday lunch and wants me to still pay. So my mom called me disgusting to my face, refused to apologize, and then still expected me to pay for her birthday lunch like nothing happened. I'm 15, and I need to explain some backstory first because this isn't just a random overreaction. My mom has severe, undiagnosed OCD, and I say undiagnosed because she refuses to get actually diagnosed, but her own best friend, who happens to be a psychiatrist, has told her multiple times that what she does goes way beyond normal cleanliness. This isn't just being a neat freak. She scrubs the soles of our feet if we've stepped outside. If someone opens a window, she forces everyone to go shower immediately. She cleans the floor directly behind us as we're walking across it, like actively following us with a mop. She's ruined my AirPods because she sprayed them down with disinfectant so many times they don't even work anymore. She's destroyed chargers the same way. Living in this house is exhausting, and I've basically learned to just accept the chaos because fighting it doesn't change anything. So for her birthday, we go out to lunch as a family, and at some point during the meal, I don't even remember exactly what set her off, but I said something, and she looked at me and said, out loud, in the middle of the restaurant, that I was disgusting. Not that what I did was gross, not that a specific thing bothered her, she called me, as a person, disgusting. And I just kind of sat there stunned for a second because that's not a small thing to say to your own kid, especially not in public. I asked her to apologize, and she refused. She said I was being sensitive and that she didn't mean it in a serious way, she was just stressed. But she didn't take it back, she didn't say sorry, she just moved on like it didn't happen and expected the rest of the lunch to continue normally. When the bill came, it turned out I was supposed to be covering part of it since it was her birthday, using money I had saved up myself. And I just refused. I said if she wasn't going to apologize for calling me disgusting in front of everyone, I wasn't going to pay for her birthday lunch. She got so angry, said I was being petty and ruining her birthday over one comment, that I was ungrateful after everything she does for me, meaning I guess all the cleaning and structure she provides, even though a lot of that structure is genuinely distressing to live with. My dad kind of stayed out of it, which honestly is pretty normal for him. Now she's telling extended family that I embarrassed her by refusing to pay, and I'm the one who apparently ruined her birthday, when she's the one who called her own kid disgusting and wouldn't even say sorry for it. So am I actually being petty here, refusing to pay after that, or is it fair to say that an apology should have come before any money did? Story 5. I refuse to give up my seat for an old lady, but I'm disabled too. So I got publicly shamed on a train for not giving up my seat to an elderly woman, and here's the thing, nobody on that train knew I'm disabled too. I'm 20 years old, and I'm not going to get into all the specifics of my condition, but the important part is this, I often need to sit down for my own well-being, and sometimes I actually completely faint if I don't. I've been put in a wheelchair before during bad episodes, even though I don't own one myself. It's just not something I need every single day, only during flare-ups. In my country, there are legal priority seating rules, and they specifically state that priority seats are for people with a disability level of 60% or higher, as certified by an official medical board, along with pregnant women, elderly people, and people with small children. I do actually qualify under the disability clause, I have the paperwork, I have the percentage, but I don't carry some visible sign announcing that to strangers, because why would I? Most days I look completely normal. So this one day I'm sitting in a priority seat, which I'm legally allowed to use, and an elderly woman gets on the train. She's not using a cane, she's not struggling to stand as far as I could tell, she just looked like an older woman. She stood near me for a bit, obviously kind of expecting me to get up, and when I didn't move, she started making comments, loud enough for other passengers to hear, about how young people these days have no respect, how she can't believe someone would just sit there while an old woman stands. And instead of quietly explaining my situation to her directly, I just kind of froze and stayed seated, not really engaging, because honestly it's exhausting having to justify an invisible condition to a stranger on public transit, especially when I was already not feeling great that day, which is part of why I needed the seat in the first place. Other passengers started giving me looks, a couple of people actually muttered things about respecting your elders, and I just sat there, silent, staring at my phone, letting them think whatever they wanted rather than explaining myself. When I got off the train, I actually felt kind of sick about it, not because I think I did anything against the rules, legally I was completely within my rights, but because of how uncomfortable the whole thing felt, being glared at by an entire train car like I was some entitled kid who couldn't be bothered to stand for 2 stops. I didn't want to disclose my medical situation to a train full of strangers just to prove a point. That felt like it should not have been my responsibility in that moment. So am I wrong for staying seated and not explaining myself, even though I had every legal right to that seat? Should I have just told the whole train car what was going on with me, or was I allowed to just sit there and let people assume what they wanted? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.